Hey there, I'm Alex Kidman and this is the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P. But wait, there's a problem. Because I'm using it right now, which means you can't actually see it. Give me a second. So here's the Osmo Mobile 7P, and like its predecessor, the Osmo Mobile 6, where do they come up with these names? It operates using a little magnetic clamp that wraps around your phone, and that's had a slight redesign. It's got slightly softer bumpers on it, and the handle itself has also had a very slight redesign. It's a little bit easier to fold out, but as soon as you fold it out, it'll power up, it'll try and pair up, it'll be ready to work, which is really nice, really decent. You also get an inbuilt set of tripod feet. Now, they're not the most solid or the most stable tripod feet you'll ever see. There is also a standard tripod screw in there though, so you could attach others or mount it in other ways. It's a nice little inclusion though if you wanted to set up a little ad hoc studio on preferably something that was a little bit more flat and stable than this park bench. The big change here is this multifunction module that you get with the 7P, but not with the regular 7. And it's a combined light and camera for gesture control and receiver for the DJI Mic Mini. And like the clamp, it uses magnets to attach, but it attaches to the side of the clamp, which then attaches to the main gimbal. So all you need to do is that and then grab a phone. Oh, look, here's one I prepared earlier. And you pop that in, you make sure that the alignment is correct for the camera. And then once that is actually clipped in place, needs a little bit of force, but it's not too hard, you can then unfold it and magnetically attach it. And while I'm not doing a great job of filming this, because a lot of it's off camera, sorry about that, you then make sure that it has actually powered up, and with a little bit of balancing, you are ready to roll, ready to shoot. You might be thinking to yourself, well, do I really need a stabilizer? Does my video need that level of cost for that level of stabilization? So I thought I'd put that to the test. A little walking and running test. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a short walk just with a handheld phone. In this case, it's the Pixel 9 Pro. And then a short run with the same phone. So just using the phone stabilizations, holding it as steady as I can. And then I'll do the same run, or as close as I can, with the Osmo Mobile 7P. And well, that should show you some level of what you can get with this, because this is a creative tool and it very much does depend on what you want to get out of it. Its own object tracking is also nice and smart. So while I am actually handheld moving the gimbal around here, it's staying focused on the Godzilla nicely. And even when I pick him up, if I move it around, it's actually tracking him in real time. I'm not just turning it to achieve that, which is nice and works quite well. Really, really simple to do with the trigger. Much the same way, in fact, of course, that it's been done with previous DJI Osmo devices as well, if you happen to have a Godzilla handy, which I usually do. Now, the other thing that you can do with the multifunction module is pair up a DJI wireless microphone, a very specific one though. It's the DJI Mic Mini, their little cheaper one. If you've got the Mic 2, and I do, it doesn't work, which is really kind of annoying. But this one does, it does function. It's doing an okay job given the noise that's around me. It's a slightly convoluted process for actually pairing it because whilst it is just Bluetooth, you have to run a cable from the multifunction module through to your phone and then pair one, or you can pair two Mic Mini 2s to it. But it works if you wanted a kind of outside studio setting, which is of course what I'm doing right now, then yeah, it functions, it's okay. The audio will be as clear as it's likely to be, bearing in mind there can be quite a bit of ambient noise. I will be very interested actually to see how noisy it is here because just behind where I've got the camera, in fact, there's a whole load of building work going on. So there may be the odd grind or spark noise that comes through. Keen to see how well that's picked up. The multifunction module also, of course, enables lighting. Now in this situation, the lighting I suspect ain't going to do a whole lot for me. I mean, I'm just cycling through its brightness modes right now. But of course, I'm in a well-lit area. You would use this in the darkness. There is an issue though with using the multifunction module if that's what you're keen on, whether you're keen on the gesture commands or the lights or the integrated microphone. And that's fundamentally the fact that it drops the battery capacity of the gimbal incredibly. So by itself, without the multifunction module, you're looking at a claimed battery life of up to 10 hours. That's quite a lot of shooting. Your phone's probably going to go flat before that actually kicks in. But if you're using the multifunction module, that can drop to as low as 4 hours. And obviously, that is going to depend on which functions you're using and for how long. But a 60% cut in power, that's quite a lot. That's quite problematic, I would say. You also get gesture control. So for example, I can do this and it should interpret me as wanting to identify and track to my face, which is indeed what it is doing. I've got to say, I don't love the gesture controls. They can be a little bit hit and miss in my experience. Getting them to work all the time is not as reliable as using actual buttons, but your experience may of course vary. The other problem though with using gesture controls is that it uses even more of the battery. And generally speaking, I'd rather the power last a little bit longer than that I could use fancy gestures. But again, your mileage may vary. This is a creative tool after all. So is the Osmo Mobile 7P worth buying? Well, if you've got a need for a gimbal, it's a pretty decent one. I'm pretty happy with the generalized results I can get out of it. Obviously, there's a fair amount of creative scope from it. The feet on it could be a little bit better, but they're workable enough, and there's still a thread screw there, so you could use your own tripod or your own base if they broke down the track. The battery life is decent. The multifunction module, I'm not quite so sold on, but it does depend on your use cases. And of course, you can just buy the regular Osmo Mobile 7, which is a little cheaper and doesn't come with a module if you figure you're not going to use it. And you can buy the module separately if that's what you really need.